Good morning, everybody. This morning, I am taking the place of Miss Jareen and Miss Emily because both of them are out of town with their families. So I get to be with you this morning. So if you're in preschool or first, second, or third grade, this is your Sunday school video. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. We did. We had a wonderful Christmas with our family. This morning, we are going to hear about another example of God always keeping his promises, because that, boys and girls, is one thing you can always count on, is that God keeps his promises every single time. Always, always. So this morning, our story is in the Spark Bible. It is on page 226, and you can hit the pause button and run and get your Bible if you're in kindergarten. And we're going to read about Simeon. We're not going to read the whole thing. We're just going to talk about Simeon. There was an old man named Simeon who lived in Jerusalem. And I have some pictures. Now, this wasn't really Simeon. This is just an artist's portrayal of what Simeon looked like. You can see baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. Simeon loved God. He knew God's words and believed God's promises. God made a promise to Simeon. God promised Simeon that he would not die until he saw the person God was sending to save the whole world. One day, Simeon went to temple. The temple was very crowded. Many people were there. Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus were there too. Simeon looked around. You see how many people are there? When Simeon saw baby Jesus, he got very excited. Could Jesus be the one? Simeon pointed at baby Jesus and said, "May I hold him?" Can you pretend you're holding a baby? Carefully, Mary said. Simeon carefully picked up Jesus and began praising God. And here's another picture. Look at Simeon's face. Do you see how happy he is? And he's looking up towards heaven, right? Praising God. Simeon said, "God, you have kept your promises. You have let me see the one you promised. And he will save the whole world." Mary and Joseph were amazed. Was Jesus part of God's promise to save the whole world? "What does this mean?" Joseph asked. "How can this be?" Simeon talked about God's promise with Mary and Joseph. And it was in Jesus's tradition, when the babies were born, they would bring them to the temple for a blessing. So after Simeon talked to Mary and Joseph, he blessed baby Jesus. How about that? Isn't that a great story? Well, in your packet, you will find this. This is going to turn into a puppet. So the first thing you're going to do is get your crayons, and you're going to color all of these pieces, okay? So hit the pause button and color if you want to. If you don't feel like coloring, you can make the puppet and color later. So after you are done, you're going to cut out the pieces. After you're done coloring, you're going to get your scissors and carefully, if you can see me, cut all around. Now you might need mom and dad's help depending on how well you can use scissors, especially our preschoolers. So you're going to cut out all the pieces like this, and then you can hit the pause button and finish cutting out. And then when we come back, I'll show you how to put your puppet together. Okay? So when you're done, you will have 4 pieces. You'll have this tab thing right here. This. You'll have this. Now, if you didn't see in the instructions, you have to cut along these lines in here. I'll show you the one that's not cut. You have to cut down here and then down to here. So you're going to take your tab and put glue on one side and glue your shoulders. Then you are going to slide Simeon's head in between, kind of like that. Then you're going to take glue and put it on the bottom of Simeon's beard like that, and stick the beard right about there. And then so the top of his head comes to the top of the tab. And then you've got him holding baby Jesus. And what I did was I gently bent it so it looks almost like you can tell he's holding baby Jesus. And this little puppet will remind you that God always, always, always keeps his promises. I am so glad I got to be with you. There's also a coloring sheet in your packet that you can color. And Miss Emily and Miss Jareen will be back next week to be with you. So let's say a little prayer. Dear Jesus, we thank you so much for coming down to earth as a little baby and for teaching us so many things, especially that God always keeps his promises. Well, we will see you next week. Merry Christmas.